Hello everyone, I'm super excited. So this is how to cut a shoulder dart bustier. So the first thing I do is to draw out my starting out line. So I marked it out. Then I mark out my shoulder inches, that's 7.5, and I mark half inches as the shoulder slant, and I slant the shoulder with half inches. Just watch me and see what I'm doing. It's very easy and simple, nothing is hard. This is the simplest way. Then my armhole is 7.5. I mark it straightward, vertical and horizontally. I draw the line. Then to get my armhole measurement, it's very simple. All you have to do is place your tape and divide it into two. Mark there. Where you marked, take out half inches from where you marked, and that's your chest line. Mark out your body measurements, your bust measurements. Then use your versatile cutout ruler. Place the lines from the half inch that you marked. Make sure that it's sitting very well. Then you draw your line. As you can see, this is very easy on how to get your armhole. Then I use 3 to 3 inches as my neck circumference, and I would love to give this a stylish neck, but because I'm drafting, I'll just use 3 to 3 inches and draft the neck circumference. So after this, the next thing I do is to mark my shoulder to bust line. From my shoulder to my bust line is 10.5. I mark my under bust. Then from my under bust, I mark 4 inches down as my waistline. Then I mark my full length. Then I'm going to draw those lines out. Remember, I made the line of my bust line, my under bust, the waistline, and the full length. So I label it. That's the chest line, bust line, under bust line, waistline, and the top length. So from my bust line, I'm going to mark out 4 inches because my nipple to nipple measurement is about 8 or 7.5. So I marked out 4 inches on the bust line, on the under bust, on the waistline, and even on the top length. So it's very easy. So just watch me and see what I'm doing. Then from my under bust, I'm going to draw the line from the under bust. I use my pen to actually draw the line, not the marker. Then at this side, I'm going to give about half inches dart allowance. I'm going to mark it. Then at the other side, I'm going to give 1 inches dart allowance. Because I'm not too busty, I'm just using 1.5 inches allowance for my dart intake allowance. That's because I am not busty. I'm not too busty. I'm just okay. So after marking it, this is how it's looking. Then from that folder I marked, I'm going to use my versatile cutout ruler to draw these lines. I'll make sure that it's sitting very well. Then I curve the lines. This is how it's looking. So beautiful, very easy, very simple. Nothing is hard about it. From my shoulder, because this is a shoulder dart bustier, this shoulder I place my tape and divide it into two. It's very easy. I mark that point. Where I marked, I'm going to connect the line, that line to my bust line. I'm going to connect it. So it's just very easy. So the next thing I do is just to give a dart inches allowance. So I'm going to use half inches allowance on both sides. That's because I am not too busty. But if you're too busty, you can go ahead and use 1 inches dart intake allowance. As you can see, this is how it's looking. As you can see at this point, we the bust area is already shaping. Then I'm going to go ahead to give 1 inches allowance. This dart intake that we took, I'm going to replace the inches allowance that we took, and go ahead with my versatile cutout ruler to mark the real armhole measurement. So don't be confused. The don't So this is the real armhole measurement that we are going to be using. Then I'll go ahead and add my body measurement. My body measurement is 8 half and quarter, divide is 35 divided by 4 is 8 half and quarter. I go ahead and put this half inches that I took, I put it back and added 1.5 inches allowance. This is all you have to do to get your body measurement. Then at this point, I added the real body measurement and added extra 1 inches allowance at 8 for the backs. The backs is actually not going to be out so much, just small. I go ahead and connect it. I go ahead and connect. Then from the line, I'm going to give shape to it. I actually will leave it this way. Yeah. On the next video, I'll give a little shape to it. I'll go ahead and curve this together and mark the 1 and 2 so that I can know. Then at this point, I'll go ahead and cut it out. So this is just the easiest method of sewing a shoulder dart bustier. It's currently not hard. As you can see, this is where I marked at the right, I cut at the right side, not at the wrong side. So you can see me cutting. Then this is the back side of it. I went ahead to mark my armhole measurements and the neck circumference. I went ahead to mark my waistline and draw the line of my waistline. It's just very easy, Then at this point, I remember that this is a shoulder dart bustier, so I would also love to make out the shoulder dart at the back of the bustier to show you how to create a shoulder dart at the back of a bustier. Then at this point, what I did was, from the waistline, I marked out 4 inches on the waistline, the chest line, and the top length. I marked out 4 inches. I went ahead to draw the 4 inches that I marked out. I used my nipple to nipple measurement for it. I went ahead to mark it out with my pen. Then from the waistline, I gave half inches dart intake allowance, even to the top length. I went ahead from the chest line, and you can see how I slanted the half inches that I took. Then at the down, I make it straight. It's just very simple, very easy, nothing is hard about it. Then at the shoulder, I'll go ahead and do the same thing I did at the front side of it. I'll divide it into 2 and connect downwards. I'll go ahead and give my half inches allowance to it. Then I mark. Then this is exactly how to give your shoulder dart at the back of your shoulder dart. I'll go ahead and add back this 1 inches allowance that we took from the shoulder and curve the armhole again. It's just very easy, very simple. Nothing is hard about it. You can try it too. You can make a perfect work. Then I go ahead and give my body measurement 8 1/4 and add 1.5 inches allowance. I love adding the allowance at the pattern paper. Then when cutting it on my fabric, I will cut exactly what is on the pattern paper. So there's nothing hard about it. I went ahead to bring front the front line to mark the accurate backing that we are going to create. So this is the end of my drafting tutorial. As you can see, this is drafted with care, with love, with every easiness. It's not hard. It's not hard. You can do it too. And as you can see at at this side that you're seeing, I gave a 1 inches zipper zipper allowance at the back. As you can see it there, I gave a 1 inches zipper allowance at the back. Then I go ahead to cut this out. You can see where I'm cutting this out at the right side of where I marked. That's where I'm cutting it out. Then I'll go ahead and pin it together and cut the back too. Then I go ahead and mark 1 and 2 so that I won't be confused, so that I won't or you won't take the front one for the back one, because sometimes when making the shoulder dart at the back, it will come to a point where you'll be confused. So I write it back and write it front. Then this is then I go ahead and pin it together. So the next thing I do is I place it on my fabric. I cut, and this fabric I already went ahead to iron this fabric with a hairstyle. So this is the hairstyle. I iron the fabric with a hairstyle. I go ahead and cut it, and you can see me cutting this exactly what is on the pattern paper. Some people um draft their pattern paper exactly their measurement and give a half inches allowance at it. I think when cutting it, you can give a half inches allowance, or you can cut it exactly whatever however you want to do it, in as long as you come out to sewing bustier perfectly. Then at this point, I would want to give a stylish neckline. Then what I did was I get my tape at one side of it. I mark about 7 inches. I mark about 7 inches. Then I get my versatile cutout ruler. I draw a straight word. I mark a straight word with my versatile cutout ruler. Of course, you all know this stylish neckline. I want to add it to this bustier. Then I went ahead to carve it how I want it to be. Then I went ahead to cut it out. I will also cut out the lining of this fabric. Then after cutting it out, this is how it's looking. So beautiful. This is how the shoulder dart bustier is looking after cutting it out.